build my gallows and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Short Bangers. I'm Matty.
I'm John.
And this is your Tuesday morning episode. John, I'm going to presume you had a good weekend?
Yes, it was splendid. Thank you. How was yours?
I think it's going to be great. Tell you what, I'm going to Easter Road on Friday. Are you going? To the friendly?
Fridays are always tricky because the wee one's at nursery on a Friday. I tend to pick her up about 5:30, but kind of joking around with some family stuff at the moment, so I don't know whether it's appropriate for me to go, but I'll maybe slip it into conversation tomorrow morning and see how that goes.
Aye. It's going to be freebie with the season ticket, so I'm looking forward to it. This is sad, right? Looking forward to seeing the pitch. They've been posting pictures on Twitter and stuff like that, and that it's pathetic, but it's because it's like that hybrid, and they've done new things to it. I'm like, oh, I bet it'll look fucking magic.
It's no pathetic at all. It's the little things that you look forward to with any new season. I remember first game back when we played Motherwell after the COVID restrictions or whatever, and despite it being Fir Park, one of my favourite memories of that is seeing the gap in the stand when you come up the stairs and seeing the green pitch in the sunshine. All of that sort of stuff means something to football fans.
That was a magic moment, that wasn't it? Like, we were together for that. We went to that game together, and we come out. I remember it. See, if you were a groundsman, like groundsperson, would you be tempted to paint the soil green so that the pitch looked better? Like, if folk from a distance, folk wouldn't be questioning the standard of your work. You just go, oh, look at that fucking. It's the middle of December. It looks great.
I don't know. I can understand the thinking behind it, but what I've found looking at the pitch at times is that when you're up in the stand, it can look very, very green. It can look lush. But actually, when you're on the pitch itself, it's wet. It's almost like thin.
Yeah.
Like even at the best sort of time of the season. So I think there's a bit of an illusion going on there anyway.
Is there a market for green soil? Think if we went into business for green soil for groundskeepers, but because I imagine like the bowling and that, they would want to have it looking green all the time.
Was there not a tournament or a game or a stadium where the groundspeople had actually been out like spray painting areas of the pitch green because it was so threadbare? Not threadbare, like thin. The grass on it had died.
I don't know.
I want to say, do you remember Fir Park, actually, ironically, when they had a lot of bother when they were ground sharing with Gretna and it got like flooded 2 or 3 times and it was fucked?
Aye.
Wonder if it was that.
I don't know. I would be tempted. I think that's like a wee hack for them if you're listening and you're a groundskeeper. Just get some green paint for when things are looking a bit ropey. Colour in the pitch. Folk will tell the difference.
Do it with a Karcher.
Aye.
Do you think you could put some dye in the water, like in the sprinklers, and just have the sprinklers do the work? I'm trying to think smarter, like work smarter, no harder here.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I don't know if water-based paint would take quite so well, but I would say you could just spray it for longer. I think that's a good shout, John.
Huh.
More obvious so folk would see what was happening. Unless you did it at night.
Do you think that being Hib supporters, having an affinity with green things, that we would look at the green sprinklers or the green water come at the sprinklers and go, ooh, it's amazing.
It's beautiful. Quick, put sunshine on Letha. We'll have a moment. Right, let's talk about pitches and painting them green. Right, Ian T, first question. Taking inspiration from the Viaplay announcement, Viaplay or Viaplay? How would you say that?
I think I would have said it was Viaplay, but I would, if it was just Via on its own, that's how I would pronounce it.
Viaplay, that's what I would have went with. What did the bangers make of the phrase including but not limited to? Me, it's annoying legalese, aka keeping your options wide open. It's like these things specifically and maybe everything in the universe. So the phrase including but not limited to, what do you make of that?
I have definitely used it in some essays that I've written or some reports that I've written for uni in the last year to try and flesh out the word count a wee bit.
Yeah. But you put that this list is not exhaustive, like that
Yeah.
kind of thing. You kind of have to now.
It's out with the scope of this report, blah, blah, blah.
Because if you don't do it, you guaranteed there'll be some fucker trying to catch you out and like play the game with it. Like that's just what happens is folk look for loopholes now. Like people try to be dicks. If you could trust folk not to be dicks and just understand the game here that you're going to say these things and you just need to use your brain to kind of figure out what other stuff would be included in that, then everybody would be fine. You wouldn't need phrases like that. But because you'll have some, and you coin a phrase, you'd have some Lampard would go, okay, no, but you never said this is excluded, so you need to pay up. That's what's fucked it for everybody.
Is it a shite bag caveat to use that? To use something like including but not limited to?
Nah, I think it makes, like we were talking about there, about working smarter, not harder. Otherwise, you'd have to list for every time you needed to use something to say.
Oh, this list is not exhaustive.
Yeah,
that's a good one as well.
You're going to have to just fucking think of everything that could possibly apply to it and cover it. And that's just like, that's a full-time job for about fucking 500 folk. Just writing terms and conditions. Like you'd have the equivalent of a script writer's room where we're going, right, we've got fire, we've got flood, we've got volcanoes, we've got earthquakes, we've got fucking hurricanes. If we missed anything, you'd go, snow, right, better put fucking snow in. And you'd have something going, what about if it's a fucking hurricane and snow? And you fuck's sake, so you have to go to hurricane and snow. And then, well, you better have hurricane and fucking wind. And even the ones that hurricane can go with, we'll fucking have to put that in because it'll happen and some kind of calls out for it. So I get Ian's point, but I think it's people's fault. That's no terms and condition writers' fault. That's people's fault for trying to fucking catch them it. In my opinion. Right, St. Christopher, next question. Will you fish is the topic. The question is, if you had to go fishing, what type of fishing would you do and where? Added content for the audio. If you had to take Gaza or Aberdeen owner Dave Cormack with you, who would you choose and could you tell the difference? And he has put the two together. I'm going to do the usual. Well, actually, that's not bad this time.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Top one's Dave Cormack, bottom's Gaza.
I thought the bottom one was...
Yes, it's good. The bottom one is Dave Cormack. John, it was like, that's the joke, kind of like they look that alike that I've confused them.
But I'm confused because the picture that was on the bottom there, was it no Hugh Edwards? I saw him in a similar strip recently.
No, it's Dave Cormack when he got the new Aberdeen strip and...
has that been out in the last couple of days?
Aye. On the last couple of weeks. Hugh Edwards, you can't say because he's got his arse out, isn't he? That's the photo of him that's done the rounds just in a football strip, is it? It's just
unless I've seen a picture of someone saying it was Hugh Edwards, it was actually Dave Cormack, and I've not known. Because that's entirely possible.
You wouldn't have said Hugh Edwards looks like Gaza, though, would you?
No.
So that's interesting.
Nobody looks like Gaza.
Well,
Gaza doesn't look like Gaza anymore.
No, he doesn't, does he? Gaza, I don't know if it's appropriate to say it, but do you look at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark?
Yes.
Gaza looks like he's looked in the Ark.
Yep. Never closed his eyes.
Yeah. Fair play to him, though. Right. If you had to go fishing, John, what type of fishing would you do and where?
I want to go fishing off the back of a boat. I want to go way out and get one of those fishing rods with like the massive fucking reels on them. Like basically for like sharks and that. Like big fish.
Would you not be worried that they just pull you in? That's what I think. Like, see if folk is just asking for trouble.
I suppose, but I don't know if these fishing rods are maybe attached to the boat. I think they're sort of like almost, I'm reluctant to say anchored or fixed to the boat, perhaps.
Yeah, what I never got with fishing, right? So I used to go fishing when I was like early teens. Right? I would go with my cousin or my uncle Jimmy would sometimes take me fishing, right? And when you catch a fish, right, which we sometimes did, there's this like there's a method to land it. Generally, you have to like wind it in a bit, and then or
Mhm.
sometimes you didn't wind it, and you just got to give it a bit of play. Why? Why don't you just lift your fucking? Why don't you just lift your rod out of the water? I still don't understand the lot. Why just go? Oh, caught the fucker. Poof, lift the rod up. Fish,
Well, I
fish
think
isn't going to swim away from you when it's dangling in the air, is it?
is it for ease of taking the fish out of the water, like because obviously when you cast your rod or cast your line,
Yep.
there's a bit of slack there, so you need to take that off.
Oh yeah.
And
But then
then even if you take the slack off, you still want to wind it in a little bit because otherwise, like you kind of want to get out of the water. You don't want to have to be. And I suppose if you think about how it works, if you were to have like say, let's say 6 foot of line out and you pulled the fish out of the water, there's every chance it's going to scud you in the face.
catch it.
Catch it. Like a wee party trick.
Aye. I always like somebody will be able to explain why. And that's probably a good explanation, right? That your lines there's too much line out for you. Just but you could walk backwards. Like I'd like walk away from the river
Aye, it's
and
true.
just pull it out. Like it's a it's an unnecessary faff as far as I'm concerned. And I never
But is
quite
that not
understood
just
the reason
fishing
for it.
in general?
Nah, fishing's it should be the opposite of faff, isn't it? Like fishing is like the most relaxing thing you can do. I think it's proven that there is nothing. Even sleep is less relaxing than fishing.
Piss, no danger.
Yeah.
Fishing, is it not just like a good seat spoiled?
No, so you're applying the good walk spoil to like they talk about
Yep.
the golf, which is true. To fishing sitting out in your rain with a tin, couple of tins, and a wee seat on a sunny day.
You say a couple of tins, but there's a reservoir near me, and I think it's had a bit of work done on it over the, I'm going to say like over the last like 15, 20 years, because when I moved here, it was a bit of a hole, but now it's got like these sort of like platforms and you need permits to go out there, and I want to say it's like monitored. There's like a warden, I think, comes round. And any time that I go down there with a dug, it's no boys that are sitting drinking tins. They're all fucking stoned.
But
It's like
like
little Amsterdam down there.
even more relaxing, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
that's a level up or level down, depending. Um, so I don't think it's like there's not that much faff. It's a faff for a wee bit, and then a faff when you catch the fish. I suppose that's a if you didn't
Like, do
catch
you not
anything,
have
it
to
must be
like,
brilliant.
do you not have to like tie your hooks and you've got to get your maggots on the hook and then there's, like you say, there's the catching, there's the putting them back. It's fucking slimy and minging. Nah, I can't be arsed with it.
It is right. So you
Except if it was off the back of a boat and someone else was maybe doing it for me.
aye, okay. Right, well, funnily enough, the next question for Tom Moss, the topic is boats. We've had some really good segues for the questions. And by the way, this isn't
Mm.
deliberate, this is just how they've landed.
Mm.
Topic is boats. If you were to buy some sort of boat, what type would it be within reason? And what would you call it? His would be a sailing dinghy, but big enough for me to get in and out of, and the name would be Persevere.
I don't know. Like, what about? Do you want one that you can sail yourself, or would you want to take a crew with you?
I get a crew.
How many folk would you want in your crew? Would you want to be able to do it in shifts, or would you want to be able to like park up for the night and say, right, boys,
Aye,
let's go to bed. We'll tackle this again in the morning.
that's it. See, like more than five, fewer than 10. That's what you have a sweet spot in between there.
I wonder, like, are aircraft carriers like too outrageous? Because you probably need like an entire navy.
Right. The problem with the aircraft carrier, fucking bored. You'd be bored in that because there's no loads of stuff like to do, and it's just like a big flat bit with no sides, so it's dangerous.
Aye, But I suppose it goes how. I suppose it depends on how far you go with the the dream, if you like, or the
With
imagination.
the within reason part.
Aye, like because with an aircraft carrier, does it have aircraft on it? Can you fly? Can you have like the whole Top Gun experience? Is it like a fully stocked, fully manned aircraft carrier where there's cinemas and shops for the crew to go and visit?
If you were doing the full Top Gun experience, what's your call sign going to be, John?
Oh, Big Easy.
Like easy.
Big Easy.
I go for Cunto.
I reckon I'm probably too tall for fighter jets.
I would think so. There must be like a limit on it. Because that's what
Probably
happened to Goose, wasn't it? Like in the first one. Like I reckon, although it
a
looked
couple
like
inches shorter.
he's all right. Yeah.
A couple inches shorter. There's no Top Gun 2.
Well, Tom Cruise survived it, didn't he? Right.
And he is renowned for being quite a short man.
Exactly. So I think that's what happened there. We sometimes when we come out of Dunfermline, if you're heading to Edinburgh, you come on the motorway, and as you come around the corner, you can see down to the Forth and the bridges, and they have the big cruisers in there, and they look fucking massive, like totally, like ridiculous. Like you think, oh, I don't even care how it's got under the bridge. It's that fucking big. I would pick one of them. That looks like it would be a fucking riot. You've got like a bar, you've got swimming pool, golf in it, and that. If you could probably do some fishing with it.
Aye, I like the sound of that bit. See, I'm trying to think again. Like if you go to the fullness of your imagination. So if you use the aircraft carrier as an example, quite a lot of these are nuclear powered. So do you need an army of nuclear scientists on board to be able to run it? And there's probably like, do you need like croupiers and like Jane McDonald's to be on your cruise ship, or is it just you and about 6 or 7 of your mates on a cruise ship?
David Blaine.
David Blaine.
Somebody did a cooking. I don't mind doing the cooking on that. Like somebody could drive the boat. Get Craig.
Craig, aye.
I think Craig could do all the engineering stuff and that. Probably. Kid's no submarine, but fucking close enough. I've seen the advert. If you can fix a bike, you can fix a car. If you can fix a car, you can fix a jump jet. If you can fix a fucking submarine, Craig, you can fix a fucking boat. So none of your shite about it.
I think it's easier to pilot, to man a cruise ship than it is to do a submarine. Like I guess they've got their own challenges, but I wonder for like a technical level, which I mean, it makes sense actually now that I talk out loud, that a submarine's going to be more difficult.
How? Submarine be easier, right? So as long
Goes
as
underwater in that.
Aye, but you've not got the waves there, have you?
But there are underwater currents that you need to consider.
But they get the currents up in the boats as well, so you've got that. But the submarine's designed so that it can go through the currents and that. It's like aerodynamic or aquadynamic, would it be, if it's in the water? Is that a word?
Probably. I'm going to say yes.
Let's go with that, right? So the submarine's designed to go with the currents and stuff like that. Big waves are going to be a faff. Imagine trying to steer when the kind of big Raj waves. You're like, oh, I need to go that way, but the waves fucking sending me over there. I think a submarine would be easier.
Do you think tsunamis are more, less, or as dangerous to submarines as they would be to a cruise ship?
More embarrassing for a submarine.
To get caught up in a tsunami?
Aye, definitely, because like they're not meant to ken they're there, eh? And if like you see the boats and you go, oh, that boat's fucked, there's a tsunami coming, right? You know that's going to come on land. Nothing it can do about it, right? But when that wave goes back out again, you go, oh, look at these cunts in the submarine. What are you doing? And they go, oh, fucking hell. Like, how are we getting back out? It's not like the wave's going to come in and they can just sail back out again. They're fucked. So
see if a submarine was, if I understand what you're saying properly, if a submarine was to be left in like the seabed after the water is drained away, do the submariners in the submarine, do they just stay there and hope that nobody's noticed, or do they get out and kind of like look about, go on shore?
Still get the periscope. For a wee peek about. Shot, eh? Right. John, we're just about the time, and I've got 2 questions left. In fact, there's more than 2, so we're not going to get through them all. Right, one more, and then we'll cover the rest of next week. Right, Neil Renton with Barbie star and Hibs fan Margot Robbie wrongly being called mid. If we were to be as realistic, what things aren't as good as people say they are? And he's going for Pink Floyd, McDonald's, and the Brazilian football team.
I'm sorry, I lost that question completely.
Right, with Barbie star and Hibs fan Margot Robbie wrongly being called mid. Right, if we were to be realistic, what things aren't as good as people say they are? And Neil said Pink Floyd, McDonald's, and the Brazilian football team. By the way, the Brazilian football team's a great shout. Fucking the amount of times that Brazil get talked up and you watch them and you go, they're all right.
Taylor Swift's got to be, can be as good as folks say that she is. Like, I was reading something earlier that was saying that her concerts are visible from space, and I'm like, I can't be arsed with this. Like, I don't know if it's always been this way. And I know that there's been like Beatlemania and there's been groupies and there's been various other things, but the way that folk worship pop stars really gets in my tits. Doesn't matter whether it's Beyonce. In fact, let's chuck Beyonce in there as well. I don't think she's as good as folks say that she is.
I would agree with that. Right, the Taylor Swift bum. I have to be careful. My daughter absolutely fucking loves Taylor Swift, like mega fan, and we do like a wee insight into things. We do an album club, right? So with the generation that would listen to Spotify, you always have stuff on shuffle. Mm-hmm. Never listen to an album end to end. So I said to Jess, right, says, you need to listen to albums end to end. So we pick an album for each other to go and listen, and you do a wee review of it. And so it just gets up there. So she's given me like 2 Taylor Swift albums recently. All right. No, definitely no as bad as the Hearts Boy. There's some good songs, right? So, and I would quite happily say some of Taylor Swift songs I would quite happily listen to. She got tickets for Murrayfield, right? So 2 daughters got tickets. And it was the best part, 600 quid, John. Right? So
holy shit.
I think they ended up getting like a VIP package, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, fucking ridiculous. And Jane told me, she says, Taylor Swift's going to become the first artist to make $1 billion on a tour. And I thought, she could start to make her fucking prices a bit cheaper then. Do you know what I mean? Like, how much money do you need to fucking make to then go, I guess, all right, I'm going to be a billionaire after this, but it's because I'm charging these kids 300 quid a fucking pop. Like, no, didn't do that. That really pissed me off. Like,
yeah. There was a thing that I read as well. It was just a headline. I don't think it was the article in full, but it was saying that Taylor Swift concerts are that large that it had an impact on Sweden's GDP.
I would imagine that's right.
And I just they wonder when she's charging folks 300 quid a ticket.
I moaned about it on one of our WhatsApp, and Neil's in that, and he says she does about 45 songs. So if you look at it, you've got a support act. She does about 45 songs, but 9 quid a song, and that felt a little bit more reasonable. But then I was like, nah, fucking hell. She's going to be
Taylor Swift's good value for money.
No, that's for a second I thought about it, and then I was like, nah, if you're going to be a billionaire, you didn't need to charge. You could make half of that and be comfortable for all your days, your kids, their kids, and all whatever are fucking comfortable forever. Then you didn't need to be a billionaire. Be half a billionaire, make it easier for folks to go and see you. That just seems to me like logic. It's like the opposite of Paul Heaton, who was at Transmit the week before. So we were at Transmit. He put hundreds of pounds behind bars in Glasgow around the venue so the folk could have a pint on him before it, because he was like, I get paid too much for this. So it's like that's the right thing to do. Go and spread the money, give folks some love, then they become a billionaire. Anyway, right, we're over time. John, it's been an absolute pleasure.
I've enjoyed it.
I know the last one, the title for the podcast is going to reference Darth Vader, right? Definitely. Not sure what we'll talk about this one. It's boat race or something like that, right? I'll try to remember. That's the thing when I go to publish them, is I can never remember what we spoke about. Anyway, right. Thanks for your questions, folk, and we will see you next time.
Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee. I don't